light the room. Truth cuts through the noise and gloom. No cue cards, no rehearsed lines. Just honest talking, changing times. Movies, music, headlines too. Different angles, different views. Laugh out loud or disagree. Every voice gets room to breathe. No filters, no pretending. Every story has a different ending. Hey, it's Mikey and the Mad Dog. Bringing conversation.
All right, everybody, here we go. Welcome to Mikey and the Mad Dog. I am the Mad Dog. He is Mikey Messier. And tonight we've got some stories. We got opinions, and we got a whole hell of a lot to say. So crank up your radio. Mikey and the Mad Dog is live and on the air. Mikey, are you ready to get this party started?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. So we kind of switched things up a little bit, folks, and we're going to have a fun show, kind of a personal show. We're going to be talking about Angelo and I will be sharing favorite songs that mean something to us, maybe mean something to you, and maybe our audience will discover a few new songs they can check out because they'll be on our list.
Absolutely. We're also going to do something a little different tonight we've never done. Check this out. We got, you see in your corner there, in the corner of your screen, we're doing a little poll tonight. Has a particular song affected your life in a profound way? So you got a chance to vote on that and let us know, and we're going to keep that up periodically throughout the show. But in the meantime, we are Mikey and the Mad Dog. Mikey, since last night, which has been a whole hell of a 24 hours ago, we had a couple of interesting comments. People want to know, are you always this subdued? And when is Mike, quote, when is Mikey going to come out of his shell? That's kind of like why even before we went on the air tonight, folks, I said, Mikey, control yourself. Control your enthusiasm.
Control your enthusiasm.
I have never known, and I'll just tell everybody, Mikey Messier was the first guest I ever had on a podcast, okay? And that's factual. That's absolutely true. I have never, I've known you, what, going on 8 years now, right?
Yeah.
In 8 years, I have never seen Mike Messier more excited than he is at this very moment. Oh, shit. Damn, brother. It's a good one tonight. Yeah, you came up with an interesting. We were, by the way, if you got to check our schedule, and I know you do because I get a lot of requests for different show ideas. We were supposed to do kind of like a Men in Black UFO show, that kind of stuff. And you know what? Out the window. Mikey came up with a much better idea. He came up with, songs that affect us, personally in various ways. And I call in tonight's show Moments in Time, our favorite songs. And like the song says, or, every picture tells a story, every story says every song, how's it go? Every picture tells a story, every story tells a song. Right. I'm probably not quoting it right, but that's nothing unusual for me, folks. But moments in time, yes, songs, they do capture the essence of particular moments in our lives. And I know for me, when I get into mine tonight, we'll talk about it. But I have been profoundly affected by music, right. Songs, if you will. And it's interesting to see how a guy who doesn't really get all that excited about too much, how music affects you. So I know there's got to be some Achilles heel somewhere that finds its way into your psyche. So I'm going to do this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with the movie maker himself, Mr. Mikey Messier. Mikey, you got it, kid.
All right. I think what we're going to do for our format tonight, folks, just so you can follow along at home, is I'm going to give my first choice. They're not, for me at least, they're not in order of importance or favorite, just in chronological order. I'm going to start with the oldest song on my list and work the way up to number 10. And we're going to pass back and forth. So I'll do my first song, then Angelo will do his first, then second, and so forth. So the first song I have was, I believe, released on the album of the same name, December 5th, 1973. I'll see if Angelo can guess it. A former Beatle. Want to take a guess at so far, Angelo?
Okay, what was the date?
December 5th, 1973. The album came out of the same title as the title song, and it's a former Beatle. December 5th,
Got to be Paul McCartney and Ram.
Close. Paul McCartney and Band on the Run, I believe.
Band on the Run. Okay.
And it's the title song is my choice for my oldest song on my list. And I have to thank you a bit, Angelo, because I believe it was you that booked the gentleman who is into Vince Russo and the expert on the Paul is Dead conspiracy,
Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I listened to the book that he was discussing, the book that's sort of written by Paul McCartney, or perhaps written by Paul McCartney, about the fake
Memoirs of Billy Shears. Yeah.
Exactly. So I listened to that audio book. I believe this was the summer of 2021, if my timeline is correct. And
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I started listening to Band on the Run. And it's actually, my birthday is also December 5th. So because the album was released on the same day, and just whether it's Paul McCartney or not, or Billy Shears or not, there are some cryptic clues in this song. And but beyond that, just the music of this song and just everything. I'm not a musical expert, but I guess you'd say the bridge or the changes in tempo, all that musical stuff. Band on the Run is just a great song. You can listen to it 5 or 10 times in a week and not get sick of it. So that's my first pick, Angelo.
Absolutely. It's interesting that you chose your birthday to start this off, because I did as well. Mine is July 10th, 1959. And the two number one songs that year are very special to me for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is I actually got to sing both of these hit songs on stage with the original artist that I'm about to name. The first song that became number one in 1959 was At the Hop by Danny and the Juniors. And one of the original members of Danny and the Juniors is still alive and a very, very dear friend of mine that's been on the show probably 5 or 6 times, Johnny Patillo.
Nice.
The second one is much more profound for a couple of reasons. I got to sing 4 songs with this gentleman on stage at a place called the Latin Casino in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And emceeing that show was Dick Clark. It was the Dick Clark Cavalcade of Stars. And on that show were Jackie Wilson, the Coasters, the Delphonics, Sha Na Na, and our guest who I sang with, Mr. Dion DiMucci. And I sang Teenager in Love, The Wanderer, Runaround Sue, and I Wonder Why with Dion on stage in front of 2,000 people, drunk as they may be, at the Latin Casino in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. How that came about, Mikey, was my father knew Dion and worked with Dion many, many years ago. Because of what my dad did for a living, he came across a lot of celebrities, particularly, rock and roll people. My dad was a restaurant and bar owner, and they would frequent his place when they were come to New Jersey and stuff. Danny and the Juniors, it was interesting because At the Hop was the very first record I ever played at a high school hop at Paul Six High School in Haddonfield, New Jersey. And it was that moment that I realized I wanted to be a radio DJ. And I said to my father, Dad, I have a request for you, and you're going to think I'm out of my mind. He goes, I already think you're out of your mind, son, but go ahead. I said, I want to go to broadcasting school. He goes, okay. So he paid for my broadcasting school. And I went to broadcasting school for a year and a half with a legendary radio personality in Philadelphia named Long John Wade. And Long John Wade was the station manager and on-air personality of a place called WIFI 92, Wi-Fi 92. And that was it was actually, if you want to think about it, it's my actual first radio station. I worked there as a non-paid apprentice under the guidance of Long John Wade and a man who became my mentor, Super Lou Serafine, who is still alive and 78 years old and ornery as ever. God bless him. But those songs were profound to me because not only were they each of them were the number one song of the year I was born, but I got to perform with both of those groups. And that was pretty special. My father was just, and it's funny because that night at the Latin Casino, Mikey, I was there with my friend Tony Massarelli, who is now my gastroenterologist. He's my doctor. And my sister, my late sister was there, and God, who else? It was that, and my father, and my cousin Tommy were there that night, and it was pretty interesting because it was one of those like surreal moments. Like I got to meet all of these celebrities, like all of these, the Coasters and Chuck Jackson and the Coat and oh my gosh, Sha Na Na and Jackie Wilson and all, just amazing, remarkable, and the Delphonics were incredible songs.
Yes.
But that was like, that was cool to me. And I still, every now and then I still remember that, and I'm actively trying to get Dion on the show. I've been trying to get him on the show for like a year now.
Yeah.
So
that's an awesome.
What's number 2 on your listing there, brother?
Well, number 2 chronologically, March 1979 from the Breakfast in America album, back when we had albums. But this is a great song, Supertramp, the Logical Song, and this is a song that can be interpreted in many ways. When I was young, I thought that life was so beautiful, etc. And this song, it's really, to me, the interpretation is everyone's born with a bit of an artist or a creator or an entertainer in them, or a lot of people are anyway. And society will try to beat it out of you, quite honestly. And the singer or the main character in the song is kind of fighting back against the current of behavioral socialism, I guess you could call it, like everybody's got to be the same. And it's really a song that calls out to the artist to be themselves and to not always be logical, even though it's the logical song. It's kind of giving a very polite middle finger to logic at times. And so if you haven't heard it, the Logical Song by Supertramp, and Supertramp in general, along with Steely Dan, is one of those bands that I think if the young people today are unsatisfied with their current pop offerings, look into bands like Steely Dan and Supertramp and bands like that from the 70s, because they a lot of them were right on point and still are.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Supertramp was one of those that they should have been a lot bigger than they were. And I think one of the reasons they weren't is because at the time, and if you remember back and when this was, when Supertramp was making their noise, music was changing like at a rapid pace. I'm going to point out a year that this next song for me is going to be a perfect example of that. Because it's a song that affected me later in life in my teen years, but it was recorded in 1962 and in 1970. 62 by the original The Duprees, who have also been guests on the show here, and in 1970 by Johnny Maestro of Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge. And the song is called You Belong to Me by the Duprees. And it affected me because it was the first time the Mad Dog like fell in love with,
Okay.
his high school sweetie.
Yes.
And I have another song about the breakup of that. when that time is, well, actually, I'll just tie it into it now.
Sure.
And the breakup of that, the beautiful, you belong to me, and the heart swells with that emotion, and it did, was equally crushed by Simon and Garfunkel's ode to this particular young lady whose name was Cecilia.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the opening line in Simon and Garfunkel's Cecilia goes, Cecilia, you're breaking my heart. You're shaking
Yeah.
my confidence. And that's what
Wow.
happened. So Cecilia stole my heart and then proceeded, like a lot of women do, to just step on it and crush the shit out of it, Mickey. That's
Well,
what happened to me.
Just as a side note, Simon and Garfunkel are great. I mean, and I think Simon wrote most of the songs and Garfunkel sang most of the songs. And I was lucky enough to see Art Garfunkel perform in concert about 9 or 10 years ago, right here in Cranston, Rhode Island, at a theater called the Park Avenue Theater. And Garfunkel had told us in the concert that he had taken a couple of years off because he had vocal cord problems, but he was fully recovered when we saw him, and he sounded great. So I mean, that's a great choice. And sorry about the Cecilia, buddy. That's too bad.
Yeah, her name. Here's, you're gonna love this part. This was her real name, Cecilia Robb, R-O-B.
Oh boy,
Cecilia Robb. She robbed me of my heart, brother.
she robbed you of your man. Yeah.
Go on to your next one, Mike. Go on to number, what was we on? Number 3 or 4
I'm
now,
on,
right?
I'm
Number
on-
4.
I'm on number 3. Yeah, and like I said,
Okay.
these are not in order of favorites or importance, or in order of the earliest release to the most recent release. So the next one is a band that's really been my favorite band throughout most of my life. They had a really interesting situation, which a lot of bands wouldn't survive. This band has thrived. Their lead singer passed away in unfortunate substance abuse, basically drinking himself to death. Found in the backseat of his buddy's car. I believe he choked on his own, stuff there. Sad story.
Yeah.
But Bon Scott, it's interesting because he had started to pen the lyrics for this album. And then when they had to replace him because he was deceased, AC/DC brought in a guy that was actually handpicked by Bon Scott. Bon Scott apparently said, if anything happens to me, guys, I want you to replace me with Brian Johnson. And Brian Johnson has carried the flag for AC/DC for the better part of 45 years, with the exception of himself being injured for one tour and replaced by Axl Rose, believe it or not. But Back in Black is the song. Back in Black is the song. Came out July 25th, 1980 on the CD or the album of the same title. And, forget the hurts because I never die. Forget the hearse because I never die is one of the lyrics. This song, I listened to it today with the lyrics on, and it really sounds like kind of a very gangstery song, like a criminal who's going to do another crime. And but this song, whether Bon Scott or Brian Johnson wrote the lyrics, however it went like that, Brian Johnson does Bon Scott justice with this tribute. And I think most people in the world have probably heard it in one fashion or another. But for me, it always gets me revved up when I hear AC/DC's Back in Black.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you what. I actually have an AC/DC song on my list. It's down on number 8. So, but I'm not going to get to it yet. The next one for me at number 3 would be Blue Moon. Now, it's a song that came out in 1963, but it was important to me in high school because it was one of those songs that it was a pivotal moment. It was a defining moment for me because I was asked to sing it, and I'm not really a singer at all.
Right.
I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate that I have a deeper voice, so I was able to pull off this song. Particularly, it has a pretty heavy bass to it, which is great for me. I did have a little help with the song, but I was asked to sing it, and I sang it. Mrs. Resnick, all 5'2" of her, a beautiful, hot little German woman that used to teach English at Paul Six High School. Mrs. Resnick asked me to sing that song, and I sang it in front of the entire student body at a talent show. And it was the first time and I was very unsure, and I said no 5 times, but it was one of those defining moments where I knew that my singing and my personality, even if my singing sucked, my
Right.
personality could win over girls. And that's what it did for me. It boosted my confidence with the chicks, as
Good.
we used to say back in the day. The other song of that same era that and I tied at number 3 and 4, but I stuck both of these at kind of number 3. And again, it's the Marcells. They did Blue Moon, but they did another one called Little Darlin'. Which was, and that was another important song to me because I did that one the same night. So there you go.
Nice. I like it.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, I guess, to my 4th pick. And once again, this is in chronological order. This song was released twice. When it first came out in 1981, it didn't make too many waves. But about 5 or 6 years later, it was used as the theme song for the love story angle on a very popular show at the time, Family Ties, with the Keaton family. Alex P. Keaton, played by Michael J. Fox. Meredith Baxter Birney played the mom. And on this show, they had a girlfriend for Michael J. Fox's character named Ellen. And they really had a good thing going for a couple of seasons. In fact, the 2 actors ended up being married in real life. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, I should say, they're still together.
They sure are.
They had a romance song and a breakup song, which was by a really fairly obscure artist named Billy Vera and the Beaters. And the romance breakup song was called At This Moment. And if people haven't heard this thing, if you're looking for a romantic song or a breakup song, it could go either way. At This Moment by Billy Vera and the Beaters is a tremendous song. And it shows that, television, the sitcom sometimes gets, laughed upon, as a lowly art form. But to me, the sitcom can be just as powerful as anything else on television or movies or radio. And Family Ties really did this song justice. The song did the Family Ties love story justice. And Michael J. Fox has said that whenever, him and his real life wife, the actress, would go out in public, they'd always play the song wherever they were out in public. People would put the song on because they associate it so closely with
Sure.
Michael J. Fox's character, Alex B. Keaton. So there you go. Did you have some thoughts on this one too?
I do. I actually sang At This Moment with Billy Vera and the Beaters at Club Trocadero in Philadelphia.
Nice. That's awesome.
Billy Vera was a friend of mine for a few years until I moved and lost touch with him. And I still have, 3 of his signed albums that, he personalized for me. And At This Moment was one of those amazing sleeper songs that just for whatever reason, it caught fire at the time, and it made him a ton of money, and he's probably still spending that money.
Good.
Yeah, so that was important that song, and it was important for the show, but it was important for the Mad Dog, and in my life as well. By the way, my brother-in-law Scott is in the room, and he says, "Let's hear the song, Mad Dog." No, Scott, go back to work, okay? Go back to work. That's my brother-in-law Scott. He's a character. We should have him on the show sometime. What a character this guy is. But the next song, what is it? Number 4 we're at?
Yeah, we're on number 4. Yep.
Okay. My number 4, it really switches gears now because I'm going now into the 70s with my music.
Okay.
The next song for me that became very important was a song called Eve of Destruction by a guy named Barry McGuire. And the reason it was important to me is because I was the perfect age to understand what was going on in the Vietnam War in the 60s. And this was late 60s when, we were dropping bombs on Laos and Cambodia and all these places. And Eve of Destruction was one of those songs that resonated with even now, my sense of social justice. And it's because it made me part and parcel of what I am. Songs like Eve of Destruction and, Fortunate Son by CCR.
Yep.
They're equal in my book. Yeah. And it's, in fact, it so profoundly affected me that for a while I actually thought about becoming a professional anarchist. I wanted to raise hell and pass the butter, as they used to say back in the day. Because I'm a little older than Mikey folks, so you might not understand these expressions. Look them up. Your parents and your grandparents know. But that's my number 4. Probably my number 4 and my number 5.
Good picks. Very good picks.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay, I'll go with my 5th pick. And this song, the videos that this guy was cranking out in the mid 80s were ahead of their time. He was the singer of the band Genesis before Phil Collins was. Peter Gabriel. And the song that I picked, there was a few that I could choose from, Sledgehammer, but I went with Big Time by Peter Gabriel. And one of the lyrics from this 1986 song is, "The place that I come from is a small town, but not me. I'm smarter than that. I'll work it out." And, this song to me, if you feel like you need a little bit of a kicking your own butt, or if you need to be inspired, or if you're looking, like a lot of people listening to this show probably want to do big things with their lives, as Angelo and I are trying to do and have tried to do, and some success, some failure. But to me, Big Time is just a really great self-motivational song by Peter Gabriel. And that throughout its existence that I've heard it always, I never turn it off. If it comes on Big Time, I'm listening to it. And once again, his music videos, Sledgehammer was probably the best, and then Big Time, and he did another one with the frog, I believe. But this one, Big Time, is the one that made the list. 1986's Peter Gabriel's song.
Beautiful. Excellent choice. I like the fact that a lot of the songs that you and I are, and this was by no means, folks, was this planned at all. But it's interesting that if you're listening to the choices that Mikey and I have, elocuted so far, they're all songs that are what you would call sleeper songs. That a lot of them weren't really great number 1 hits, but they were impactful. Like the next song, my next one, my number 5. We're on number 5 now.
Yes.
Okay, my number 5 is a song that there was a one-hit wonder, like a lot of mine are, but it was a one-hit wonder by a guy that a lot of you never heard of called Mungo Jerry. Now, do you know who Mungo Jerry is, young man?
I do not. I do not.
But you know his song because you hear it a lot on television. Mungo Jerry did a song called In the Summertime.
Oh yeah.
In the
yeah, yeah.
summertime when the weather is high, you can get it up and touch. It's got that one. That's Mungo Jerry.
Yes.
His song is used for a lot of commercials to sell products and stuff like that. He's still around. He's still around, and he's still singing In the Summertime.
Good.
I like that song because it defined my particular summer of 1970. When I was in 1970, I was 12 years old.
Sure.
And just giving away my age, I was 12 in 1970. And what happened that year was it was the carryover from 1969 Summer of Love, Woodstock, Peace and Love, and the whole hippie movement. My cousin that I was very close with at the time was, the aforementioned hippie. He had hair
Right.
down to his ass, round, spectacle, John Lennon glasses, the whole bit. God rest his soul. But he helped define my, and I'll use this term that you don't hear anymore, Mikey, my counterculture spirit.
Right.
The term you don't hear too much these days, counterculture. But Mungo Jerry in the Summertime was just a fun song. And when you heard it, you couldn't help but sing along with it. You just couldn't help it. It was one of those kind of songs. I got a couple more of those kind of songs coming up. What was your number 5 or number 6?
We're up to number 6. And this one is a song that I can't remember hearing in my childhood. I've only come across it in the last couple of years on YouTube. But once you hear it once, you want to play it like once a day. At least I do. It's a kind of ahead of its time. It's 1988. It's 3 female singers and a DJ, JJ Fad, Supersonic. And this song just gets stuck in your head. And the video is just pure joy of these 3 women doing, like old school rap with the beatbox, the vocal beatbox, and the record scratching. But I'm telling you, this song, it's like a little piece of candy. It's just fun,
I understand songs like that well, my friend. I understand well. My number 6, again, sticking with the year 1970, because that was a special year for me. Creedence Clearwater Revival, CCR, who, by the way, this particular song is my ringtone.
Yep.
And it's called Traveling Band. It was one of those, when you heard John Fogerty sing, his voice was and still is unmistakable.
Right.
Songs like, Traveling Band and Looking Out My Back Door, those were like 1970s encapsulated.
Right.
That and Mungo Jerry, that was my summer of love, 1970.
Nice. I give you probably my favorite John Fogerty song. I think it's John Fogerty without CCR, is The Old Man Is Down the Road. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, absolutely. It's there.
I think that's from the 80s, but that was another one. And Center Field, whenever baseball season comes out, Center Field's a John Fogerty song, isn't it?
It is, in fact, and that's my backup ringtone.
Oh, wow.
It
Good.
sure is. It
Nice.
sure the hell is too.
Well, probably an artist, musically that's pretty far away from John Fogerty and CCR. But for me, this is a woman who at the time I didn't fully appreciate. She was not afraid of anything. She got onto the radio in a big time way, covering a Prince song, Nothing Compares to You. But the song that I chose from Sinead O'Connor is another recent discovery for me, The Emperor's New Clothes. This song and the music video that's attached to it just show this woman, very, very unique woman. And the song is very unique. It's probably one of the most personal songs that I've ever heard. The lyrics don't even sound like song lyrics. They don't make a point to rhyme or to have rhythmic pentameter or anything. It seems like a journal entry, but the way that this Sinead O'Connor sings the song, it's just magic. And the music video really shows her as an artist, kind of putting herself on there on a little stage, and the audience is kind of judging her and viewing her. And the song is about a personal relationship that Sinead had that resulted in a pregnancy, and she and the father of the child had different viewpoints on what they should do about it. And I don't know if you are much of a Sinead O'Connor fan, Angelo, but to me, she got my number 7 pick with The Emperor's New Clothes.
I will confess that I don't know much about her music. I've heard some of her more commercial hits. I'm assuming that this is not one of her more successful commercial hits. I'm
No.
not really familiar with it.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because my next song, and by the way, folks, there's a poll up on your screen right now. Has a particular song affected your life in a profound way? So our poll is up. What it's number 1 would be yes, number 2 would be no. So tell us, is it 1 or 2 for you? And we'll leave that poll up there. So my next one, number 6, Mikey, is also an obscure song. And it's by a guy named Yusef, but you would probably know him as Cat Stevens.
Cats in the Cradle. I'm sorry, I had to guess.
Cat Stevens did a song that affected me profoundly in a couple of different ways. It was called Tea for the Tillerman. And
T for what?
Tea for the Tillerman.
Okay, T for the Tillerman. Okay.
Yeah. And it's like 1971-ish. 71, I believe that came out. And Tea for the Tillerman was interesting because it was the first time that I was introduced, again, by my cousin. I was introduced to this alternative type of music. It was folk, but yet it was hippie. It was contemporary rock, but not headbanging rock. It had very impactful lyrical content. Again,
Right.
Cat Stevens became Yusuf because intrinsically he is a politically charged person, and his music was also politically charged, and I think that also contributed to part and parcel my sense of social justice and equality, and standing up for the little guy, so to speak.
Right. Nice.
Your number 7. What's on your number 7, Mikey?
I think we're actually up to number 8. Before we get
we're on
there,
number 8.
I jumped in and I just wanted to clarify. Did Cat Stevens, was his song, did he also do Cats in the Cradle, or is that somebody else?
Cats in the Cradle is also on my list, but that's Harry Chapin.
Oh wow, I didn't see your list, just so everyone knows, but for whatever reason, when you said Cat Stevens, I thought of Cats in the Cradle. But I'll move on to number 8 on my list. And this, hip hop or rap, hardcore rap, or just rap in general, is something that I really came of age with. Like, it was getting established as I was in my youth, and in my teens years. Hip hop was blowing up, and one of the OGs, as they say, in the hip hop community was Ice-T, and still is Ice-T, who's gone on to become an actor and done a lot of films. And I believe he was on Law and Order and all types of TV shows. But Ice-T had an album. He had a very controversial song called Cop Killer, which was very controversial, somewhat misunderstood, because as Ice-T said it, he wasn't advocating for going out and killing cops. He was presenting the song from the point of view of a cop killer. And so when you do things that are edgy like that, you're going to get a lot of controversy. But Ice-T's, I think he had to go onto his own label. Warner Brothers dropped him because of the controversy. He made his own Rhyme Syndicate label, I believe it was called. And he came back strong with an album called Home Invasion. And the final track on the Home Invasion album is Message to the Soldier. And this is from 1993. And if people don't think that Ice-T had, Tupac and Big Papa and a lot of rap guys, get a lot of credit, I don't think Ice-T ever gets the credit that he deserves as being a great lyricist and a great producer and the flow, as the kids say. But to me, Ice-T made an impression, and the whole Home Invasion album made a big impression on me as a young guy. And I give it up to him and Message to the Soldier for number 8.
Excellent. My number 8, again, is a one-hit wonder, an obscure song that certainly an obscure artist. A lot of you will not even know this name. But Mikey, let me test your musical knowledge. You know who Albert Hammond is?
No, off the top of my head, I don't.
Albert Hammond had the number 1 song in America in 1972, and it was called "It Never Rains in California." So, girl, don't they want you? I'm a terrible singer, folks, but that's what it's called. It Never Rains in California. Albert Hammond, again, a song that affected me because it was a song that ushered in the end of the summer of peace and love. And I was starting to get older, and now I was, in high school. And so things were changing now. I had just entered high school in this time period, and Albert Hammond's "It Never Rains in California," along with other songs of that type and in that genre, really kind of ushered out that folky feel. And the next couple of songs on my list, when we get to them, you're going to see how they usher in the more heavier rock and roll type songs of the middle 70s and latter 70s. But that's my number 8.
Nice. All right. And thanks, whoever gave us the big thumbs up as we're doing this live from Facebook. We appreciate the thumbs up, and you're welcome to comment as well. Number 9.
Just want to remind people too, Mikey, that if you want, and we appreciate it if you'll do this for us. Join us on YouTube chat. We got super stickers. You give us a super sticker, $5 super sticker. Hey, Mikey and I could use $2.50 each. We'll take it.
We'll take it.
And so, Mike, why don't we do this right here? This is a good point, perfect point to do this right about midway. Let's take care of a little business here, and I'll let people do some shopping. Check it out, folks. Watch this.
Got your coffee mugs lined up, morning pour in your hands. T-shirts fresh off the shelf, books you can hold and scan. Yeah, you know the name. Now you know the name. Bring it back again, grab one, grab two, show your crew the proof. Wear it, share it, keep that fella true. Whoa, Mikey and the Mad Dog, say it out loud. Mikey and the Mad Dog, wear it with pride. Mikey and the Mad Dog. Turn the mic on, light the room. Truth cuts through the noise and gloom. No cue cards, no rehearsed lines. Just honest talking, changing times. Movies, music, headlines too. Different angles, different views. Laugh out loud or disagree. Every voice gets through.
It's Mike and the Mad Dog at 7:45 on WTBR 88.7. Mikey, you are up, my brother. Go for it.
I have number 9, 2008. Unfortunately, this is kind of a one-hit wonder, but this musician, female musician, is very talented. The song is called Paper Planes. The artist is MIA. her political beliefs and her history is very interesting, fascinating woman. She gave the middle finger at the Super Bowl one year, apparently. The NFL actually sued this artist. I mean, so that's something. To have the NFL sue you is, I mean, that's rock and roll, I guess. But I mean, for whatever reason, this song started playing for me a lot in 2021, 13 years after it was released. And I just was playing this song all the time. It's got special effects like cash registers and guns being pulled and all types of special effects. And it's, to me, the song, without getting into the exact lyrics, it's about being a hustler and just working your ass off and trying to get ahead in life by any means necessary. And I think, like Angelo, Mad Dog, myself can attribute that's what we both do. And MIA, I mean, she puts that feeling of hustling into a song like I don't think many people have. So I give her a lot of credit for this one.
Excellent. And I know who MIA was, and I'll tell you what, she just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
She did not care. She was. You have to admire her conviction, if nothing else.
Right.
Say what you will about what she did, but hey, at least she stuck to her guns. The next one for me was really important for a couple of reasons. It ushered into me a new girlfriend at a high school dance. Again, a lot of my moments took place in high school.
Sure.
Special moments to me, especially when it came to girls. And this was a song that was number one. It just seemed like it was always going to be number one forever. And you would be hard pressed to ask anybody today who the group was. They all know the song, Mikey, but ask them who sang this song, what group sang it. The song was called the Ballroom Blitz. You remember the song from Wayne's World? Tia Carrera sang it in Wayne's World.
Yeah, I do know the song Blitz, Ballroom Blitz. I mean, I want to say the Ramones, but I know it's not them because the singer was totally different in Ballroom Blitz than any of the Ramones. I don't know.
The group, Mikey, was called Sweet.
Sweet.
They were called Sweet, SWEET, Sweet.
Okay.
And they were a band from Norway. They were a band from Norway called Sweet. And they did this one-hit wonder again. And they never did anything after that. Ballroom Blitz. They're still making money from that. Whoever wrote that is still making money. But it's been used in Wayne's World, of course. Tia Carrera sang it in Wayne's World. But it ushered in my newest girlfriend in high school. We met at that dance. In fact, we did something, and it was very crazy and I knew I was destined to be with her for a little while anyway, because we slow danced to Ballroom Blitz. Now, if you know the song, it's not a slow dance at all. But we didn't give a shit because, I guess she was kind of feeling the moment, and I was absolutely feeling the moment.
Or moments.
Yeah, or moments. Yes, I felt a couple of her moments. Brother.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so what's your number 9 or 10? Where the hell are we now? I forgot.
We're on 10. We're on 10, and this one is a controversial song, and you could call it a guilty pleasure. I have a song list somewhere that I created called Good Songs About Bad Things, and the song list was probably inspired by this because it's such a catchy song. It gets stuck in your system. It's from the year 2010. At the time the song was released, the issue that it takes on wasn't quite as big a problem as it became. It was an issue, but it was not quite an everyday concern. And so it's tough because the song is so good, but the subject matter is so dark. But once again, it's from the perspective of a school shooter. And the song is called Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People. And this song, I mean, Angelo, if you haven't heard it, you probably have in passing, but a lot of people have heard this song. They sing along to it or they hum along to it without listening to the lyrics. But the lyrics, like I said, they're very, very dark. But once again, it's the artist putting himself in the shoes of what would it take to go nuts and be a school shooter. And the song is very effective. It was critically praised at the time. It was kind of a one-hit wonder for the band, but it's a contagious song, and it's unfortunately, like I said, at the time it was released and made, the issue of school shooting wasn't such a everyday thing. It's horrible that kids these days have to go to school and do like we used to have fire drills. These kids have school shooter drills, and I still just putting this out there for a second. I don't understand why in our country that has a lot of money for a lot of things, why can't each public and private high school or school in general hire one security guard a day? I don't think it would cost that much money for one security guard for a couple $100 a day to ensure the safety of the kids. But in any event, the song is good. The song is great, and it's Foster the People, Pumped Up Kicks made my list.
Excellent. I have my next one is important for a couple of reasons. Because the band did this song as a request because I yelled it out, and I didn't think anybody was listening. So myself and 100,000 of my closest friends gathered at John F. Kennedy Stadium in Philadelphia for a Leonard Skinner concert.
Nice.
And I yelled out as loud as I could, "Free Bird." And the guy heard me, went, "You got it." And then I heard down and that fucking guitar riff.
Yeah.
Then right after Free Bird, without breaking a chord, they went into Sweet Home Alabama.
Nice.
And so Freebird, I got a twofer on that day.
Sure.
I got Freebird and Sweet Home Alabama from Leonard Skinner.
That's awesome.
JFK Stadium, it was 1976.
Nice.
The song came out, I think Freebird came out in 73 or 74, I'm wanting to say.
Yeah,
somewhere
like
around there.
Yeah.
And then, but the concert was 1976 at JFK Stadium, which JFK Stadium is now Lincoln Financial Field. It's still a stadium, but they imploded the original stadium, and now it's a modern sports venue where the Philadelphia Eagles play. So that's my number 10.
Nice. Well, this has been tremendous. I mean, we could go all night, but we have some comments. Al Ruffian.
What's that? Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I think he was referring to my choice a couple of choices ago. MIA reminds me of Bikini Girls with Machine Guns.
Yeah.
And then Ruffian said earlier, this is our buddy Ruffian. I got a whole catalog of songs for my life. I can't pick one, but there are a lot of songs that remind me of my wife, and I cry through those. Well, that's a good song when it makes you tap into your emotions and so on and so forth. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this might be a topic that we revisit, Angelo, because I like your stories about songs with your life, and I could definitely think of more. Did you have any more you wanted to mention? But I did.
Yeah, I actually do, Mikey. We actually have some time. The next one for me, it's actually one artist, but two particular songs that this artist did. The late John Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Did two songs around 1974, 75 that were important to me because it was the first time that I was introduced to country of a different type of music. Like, the country music to me was always like, Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard. But John Denver kind of, if you were alive at the time, John Denver popularized this new kind of country music. It was more upbeat. And he did a song called "Country Boy." Thank God I'm a country boy.
Yes.
And then he did, and then that was one of them. But the other one he did was really resonated with a lot of people, and it was a beautiful lyric. Was called Annie's Song.
Okay.
Around 74, 75, around the same time period. And they both went to number one. As pretty much everything he did went to number one. He was just there was nothing that John Denver could do that failed.
Right.
In fact, he was so popular at the time. He did television. He did 5 or 6 movies around that, including one with George Burns called "Oh God."
Yes.
Where George Burns played God.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
it was typecasting. He was old enough.
Right.
But the other thing, it wasn't really a song for me, Mikey, but it was a moment. In 1973, it was important because I'm a big Elvis fan.
Sure.
And in 1973, Elvis Presley did a concert that was seen via satellite around the world. It was called Aloha from Hawaii.
Right.
And if those of you who follow Elvis, you know what I'm talking about. Aloha from Hawaii was seen by over 1 billion people at the time, worldwide via satellite. And so it wasn't so much a song, but an experience, because up to that point, I had not ever seen Elvis in a concert setting. I did actually not only get to see him, but I met him.
Wow.
In 1977, when I was working for a radio station, WPGR, in Philadelphia. It's funny because my father had got tickets for this concert. But at the same time, I was just starting, my radio gig. Right. 1977. I'll never forget this. It was May 28th, 1977 in Philadelphia. It was my father's birthday. And as a birthday present, he gave me 1 ticket. All he could get was 1 ticket to see Elvis. And I got to see Elvis, and I got to meet him that night. And that's funny. I'll tell you a little Elvis story, and I've told this a million times. So I'm standing this close to him, right? I'm standing this close, and I said, Mr. Presley, I'd like to. May I shake your hand? May I shake your hand, Mr. Presley? And he puts he's wearing sunglasses. It's 9 o'clock at night. He goes, "Son, I'm Elvis. Mr. Presley, my daddy." And I thought that was pretty cool. That was a very Elvis thing to do.
Yeah.
He dropped his sunglasses. And he goes, "Son, I'm Elvis. Mr. Presley's my daddy." That was great.
Good
but
stuff.
That was true story. You can't make this up. Tell people too. You can't make this up. And one of Elvis's his backup guitar player ended up being a friend of mine, the Charlie Hodge. Yeah, God rest his soul. I think that's pretty much the Scott's laughing. That's my brother. What are you laughing at? Go back to work, Scotty. Let's hear the song. No. God, there's so many songs, Mikey, that affected me in some way, shape, or form. One of my favorite groups from back from the 70s to even now, they still perform, a group that you probably know called the Cowsills.
I don't know too much about them. No.
They actually did the theme song Love American Style for the TV show Love American Style.
I'm familiar.
They
with
also did a song called Hair.
From the musical?
They did, Indian Lake. They did The Rain, The Park, and other things. That's a really bouncy up music, very positive.
Nice.
And John Cowsill is actually a friend of mine on Facebook.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many. We got to do like a part 2 of this, because this is just a fun kind of show to do. Yeah,
this was great. I've already written down 3 for the next episode, and It is a thing where you open up that Pandora's box and it's going to pour out, so to speak.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother. You know, it's funny when it comes to music because oftentimes one song can lead to other songs that can lead to many stories. People think about something. People meet over music. They get married over music. They fall in love over music.
Right.
And sometimes they get divorced over music.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's cool.
if they're lucky, they get divorced over music. If not, then they just beat the shit out of each other.
Right.
Everything you need, folks, is at wtbr.podbean.com. We are every Monday, normally behind the veil when mystery becomes history, but it's always the Mikey and the Mad Dog Show. Tonight, moments in time, our favorite songs. I am the Mad Dog. Don't call me a legend, just call me Angelo. I've been there. That's where I work, folks. If you guys want to know, there's right because I get emails. Where'd you ever work at? With there, I'm working. See that one right there? I'm working. I own that station number, WTBR 88.7. That's mine. Mikey Messier is at MikeyMessier.com and WTBR.pod. You can find Mikey all over the place. He is a what do you want to say? A master of social media manipulation and consequation, and he is a guy that's he has a high profile presence. How am I doing that?
That sounds good. It might be better.
He's all over the place. Mike Messier is like horse shit. He's spread everywhere, folks.
There you go. Well, I've got the official, if you can see it, the Mike Messier aluminum drinking soda here. The drinking can, the mug, you can get that on my spread shop. Go to Mike Messier. MikeMessier.com. And then you just scroll to the bottom to get to the links. There's a shop page on my website, MikeMessier.com. And the novel Fight or Play Basketball, we're going to have a show about that one that I wrote.
Yeah,
and,
we sure do.
We're going to talk. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So appreciate everybody's support of the last couple of months. I've been back here with Angela. It's been a lot of fun. We
have a way to get a hold of us. You can reach Mikey and the Mad Dog at WTBR.podbean.com. Go to our contact page. Go to our merch page. Check out our shirts, our mugs, other special merchandise. Mikey's got his entire website is on WTBR Radio. And if you don't remember to just put TBR, it'll come up. You watch. Or just put Mad Dog, Mikey and the Mad Dog. We're all over it's you know how easy it is to get. Here we are. We're here every week, folks. You don't even have to come we'll come to you. Okay. I'm making it so easy for you. Easy to find, hard to forget. Easy to find, hard to forget. Absolutely. I mean, look at this. I got a face for radio and he's got a face for film. That's why he's the actor and I'm not. Well, thanks. Anyway, Mikey's sporting that Captain Jack Sparrow look for a couple of movies he's got coming up there lately. Well, this is my David Bowie bandana. I don't know if you can tell, but that's my. I David see Bowie. That. Yeah, absolutely. And again, like and subscribe us, and thank you. We are fully monetized on YouTube now, and we are on no less than 5 YouTube channels right now. So check us out. Follow the links for each one, and there you go. Mikey, what do you got coming up, kid? Well, I'll be traveling back to Florida. I've had a good run for a couple of weeks here in Cranston, Rhode Island, and parts of Connecticut. I took a nice ride down to Connecticut to act in the film Friday Night Lies. And, I had a good part as Kevin the Podcaster, kind of typecast, but good. I mean, it's better to be typecast than not cast. So thanks to my buddy David Gear and his lovely lady, Chelsea Vale, for getting me the audition opportunity, and director Jacob Cooney for directing. And I had a really good time. And I will be hitting the road, Angelo. I've got I normally do this trip in 3 days, but I'm going to do this one in 4 days. So I'm going to have a nice road trip, and I should be back well in time for our shows next week, next Monday and Tuesday. Excellent. But
I've got like a 4-day car drive ahead of me, so that's what I'm doing.
Well, you be safe, my friend. You take care and just drive careful. If you're in New Jersey and you need a place to crash for the night, just hit me up. We're not hard to find.
Thanks,
Okay.
Angelo.
On behalf of Mikey, the movie maker Messier, I am the Mad Dog, and like Papa DeCipio always said, tomorrow, my friends, is promised to no one. So make today count. Be nice, be kind, do something good for somebody. Until we see you next week, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Be good. We are out of here. Take care, folks. God bless. Good night.